Hello again, it's Paul Feuerstein, continuing on my quest to find out what the heck is going on in dentistry right now. And I have the real pleasure, and thank you very much for coming and taking some time out of your busiest day to speak with Ed Shillard, who is the Chief Dental Officer of Carestream Dental. Ed, how are you doing? The understatement of the year.
Yeah, I'm doing good, Paul. Good to see you as always. And greetings from Atlanta, where I'm all hunkered down here in downtown Atlanta. And hope you're doing well there for you too. But everything's good here. It's a nice and sunny day. And
well, we're doing our best. And so I've been talking a lot to dentists, hygienists, assistants, some people in social media. But I wanted to get a different look at the whole process. Right now, there's dental companies. There's Carestream Dental and all sorts of dental companies that probably had all kinds of things ready to go, ready to roll, ready to sell. And now you have to step back and have it take a totally different voice in dentistry right now. So what I'm kind of looking for, Ed, is what's happening right now in the dental marketplace on your end, and what's your crystal ball? And what are you doing? I understand there's some initiatives that you were involved with also in helping out the dental trade system, dental trade association, et cetera. So why don't you just run with that?
Yeah, Paul, we're like everybody else, right? We're in a standstill. I mean, certainly, offices are closed, and so our ability to to sell equipment and supplies and software has been limited. We saw the impact certainly first in China. And then, obviously spread to the rest of Europe and into the States. But, if I could have a crystal ball on what's going to happen, I have a little bit of an insight in that, we see China coming back, which is a great sign. And while it's not certainly back to where it was before COVID days, we are seeing an uptick in interest and an uptick in sales there, which is a great sign. Probably, it continues to drive upwards. I can't give you the exact numbers because we're not really sure, but somewhere in the range of 50-60% of where it used to be.
That's pretty good.
It's certainly more than 5 or 10, and it's less than 100, but
yeah.
And it varies certainly between different regions within China, but overall we're starting to see some activity back, which is great news. And so
one of my concerns is that the dentists are shut down and they're getting a giant economic hit. So a lot of them had said, "Oh, we're going to make some nice purchases. We'll get a cone beam. We'll change our software. We'll do this. We'll do that." And they might, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to look like when we come back to work, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so, I think what we're going to see is that we're still see a slowdown. I mean, from a manufacturer perspective, still be slow. Throughout certainly the second quarter of the year into the third. And I think by the fourth quarter, certainly we'll see things kind of getting back to some state of normalcy. I think what I have talked to some docs and interestingly enough, and you do too, I know, but that they're ready to go and patients are calling in, and I think there's going to be obviously pent up demand that's going to hit. And so my sense is that we're going to see a nice uptick pretty quickly out of the gates, which is, I think, would be great.
Yeah, there'll be a different kind of a surge that we're looking for right now. I mean, just even in hygiene, we have a backup of probably well over 100 patients, and people have to come in for recall. So when we were talking earlier, you came up with a brilliant idea. First of all, Carestream has done a nice new initiative with the I'll use the word teledentistry for lack of a better word. Give me a little insight of what you have up your sleeve there.
Sure. Yeah, we partnered with a company called Mouthwatch and their product to actually offer up a teledentistry service to docs that actually can do triage and some basic interaction with patients remotely. A HIPAA compliant portal that allows them to interact with their patients, whether it be voice and or voice and audio and video rather. And so we've seen a lot of interest there. Docs being able to have some sense of communication with their patients while they can't go see them in the office, and you actually triage. And as we were discussing earlier, Paul, just to go in yourself and set up the office takes a lot of time and energy for something that may be pretty minor. And so being able to understand exactly what's going on in the patient's mouth to say, hey, we can wait, or yeah, I've got to get in and see you right now, certainly is a big plus. And we all know that teledentistry has been around for a long time, but certainly the virus has, kind of put a stronger emphasis there. And so we've been happy with that partnership, and we kicked that off a couple of weeks ago, and we've seen a lot of interest.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a compliancy here of HIPAA because you're not really supposed to use Zoom and Facebook and things like that to talk to your patients. It's not really
Yeah,
HIPAA
you're
compliant.
really not to. You're really not supposed to, right? But I know folks are. But this platform allows for
Oh yes,
smooth
absolutely.
communication. Yeah.
So I have to tell you, I was complaining to a lot of people, including yourself, about what I see is I'll be working on a patient, and then the hygienist is going to call me in for a quick check, and that means I have to deglove and decontaminate myself and work back into the room. And you came up with kind of a clever little scenario there for me.
Yeah, my idea is really to have an inter-office teledentistry, right, where the hygienist can actually use the intraoral camera in video mode or an intraoral scanner and actually show you. You can have a screen outside of the operatory where they're working, and she or he can actually walk you through the oral exam when you can stand and visualize it while. It doesn't require you then to your point, to decontaminate yourself and go in there for a quick check. But yeah, at least this way, the patient also knows that you've been active in the review of their oral health, and lets them know that you care without you having to, like to your point, and I agree, having to go through that long process of derobing, decontaminating, going in, and then coming back out again, and it just feasibly does not make a lot of sense. But I think this at least gives you that opportunity to examine the patient
Yeah.
remotely.
The other question I have for you is pretty loaded, I guess, but most of a lot of your customers have your own your software, your practice management software, and I'm assuming there's a way for them to log in from home and see what's going on in the practice.
Yeah, there is a remote feature for all of our products where you can actually go into the office and see scheduling, and you can see to get the practice analytics, if you will, remotely. So there's that capability certainly, to work remote, if you will, on the practice dynamics. Yeah, that's
That's
available.
both SoftNet and PracticeWorks, I'm assuming.
That's
But
correct.
plus, how is the cloud system going?
Yeah, we're good. We're migrating, folks over to the cloud in a hosted environment, and then we're also working on. We have a product called the CMP, or Care Management Platform, that's just totally in the cloud. We've launched that last year, and my folks are excited about that as well, because as we all know, it's a way to store all your information. Easily. You don't have a lot of IT requirements at the practice level, so your needs for an IT support go way down. Your needs for high-end computers drop off substantially as well. So, we're going to continue to see that. I think ultimately all practices will eventually get to that and get away from what we call on-premise, storage of information.
Yeah. Now, what do you see coming up? I mean, you've been speaking with the Dental Trade Alliance. You can tell me a little bit about that, but when's the next dental show going to be?
Yeah, great question. My sense is there may not be any more dental shows this year. I could see. I'd love to think that we could have an ADA in a Greater New York at the end of the year. Time will certainly tell. If I had a crystal ball on that, I suspect there probably won't be anything for the balance of this year. I'm hopeful that there will be, but if you were to ask me now, Paul, I would say probably not. There probably won't be.
Does the DTA have any help for all the dental manufacturers around?
Yeah, I think all the manufacturers, certainly we'd love to be able to see that, right? I think we all would love to be able to have a trade show start back up again as soon as possible. But who knows, right? We all know as we come out of this and we all come out of our secret hiding places and get back into reality, what's going to happen are we going to see more spikes, or are we going to see it level off? And time will tell. I guess if you were to ask me a month from now, Paul, I probably could give you even a better answer, because
I think
we
we
just
all
don't
will.
know. Yeah,
Every day is a new adventure around here.
yeah.
So just going a little promotional, because I love some of your products. You have a brand new scanner that's really a killer. Just tell us a tiny bit about it.
Yeah, we launched the 3700 scanner, which is on our platform. We have the 3600, now the 37. The 3700 is a little smaller than their 3600. It's got a little more ergonomics. We work with Porsche Studio Design to develop that product, which is always nice to be able to get some additional design help. Certainly with a group like the Porsche Studio Design, that's been great. And it has built-in shade matching, and so when we do the shade matching and we capture that information, it's captured automatically as you scan. And so you have a full arch shade match as you go. It requires very little calibration. We've added in some additional features. As our roots are Kodak and we understand color.
Sure.
And so we've leveraged some of our optical engineers and PhD scientists to add in another layer of color management. And so we feel that we've got some really good shade matching capabilities because we've added in a whole new feature on how to measure color in different shading and at different angles. And so that we feel gives a better shade match.
Yeah, the reviews have been stellar, I have to tell you.
Yeah, we've been really excited. The speed is great, and a full arch capture in about 30 seconds. So we're real happy with that platform, and it's one that we developed ourselves and continue to develop internally. We don't rely on anybody out externally. We do it all. All the development work is done by us.
And then just a quick little promo because again, it's a product that I really like, is the new cone beam with the whole video system of aligning patients. Just give a sort of a short description of that for those who don't know what I'm talking about.
Sure, it's the CS9600 CBCT, and that platform, to your point, has built-in cameras and audio so that you can remotely instruct the patient how to stand and how to position. It's easy for you to see where they are. You can actually trace on the screen that's located at the machine or in the acquisition computer through a touch screen to actually position exactly where we want the image to be taken. So there's no, you decrease dramatically the amount of retakes that you need to have. And there's all kinds of bells and whistles on it. You can put a seat on it. So for those patients that have a hard time standing still, and for kids that may be a little antsy, you can sit them down and you can get better positioning and more, less likely to get any movement issues when you take the image. But in general, we really look backwards at the development process to say, what do docs really need? What are the biggest pain points? And we think we addressed, we really did a good job of addressing those pain points. I think the biggest thing we had when we had some initial folks look at the technology, some docs, they're like, do you have this and this? And we're like, yeah, we've got that, we've got this, we've got that. So it's always good when you get towards the end of a project and people ask about it, that you get good, you can say, yes, we thought of that.
Yeah, it's actually funny. It's almost, if you think about it, it's like teledentistry into the machine itself, because you're sitting there remotely looking at the patient's face and the video of where they're sitting, the angle of their head and everything else. Like, it's really kind of a very, very cool product.
Yeah, exactly. That's precisely what we did. Yeah, it's to your point. You're right. It's an in-office teledentistry. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Yeah, and then another exciting thing we're working on, Paul, is that we're working with the Dental Trade Alliance and the American Dental Association. I think it's important. We felt it was really important to make sure that we get the message out to docs and to their patients, certainly the patients, to make sure that it's safe to come back to the dental office. And so you're going to see some stuff coming through the Dental Trade Alliance and through the ADA in the upcoming weeks, where we're going to be using what we call a social media drip campaign that will allow docs to actually social media their patients, and we're going to create information in a way and packets of information so docs can use those with their patients to highlight to their patients what's why you should come back, and it's safe to do so. We want to get people back into the offices as quickly as possible. And so that we're excited about that campaign, and we're excited that we're helping to lead that.
I'll take any advice I can get right now. I mean, we're just wondering and worrying, and I need some backbone, and that sounds like that's going to be very good help for us.
Yeah, I think it's just and the nice thing about it is something that all docs can do through their social media platforms as well. It's not going to cost money. It's going to be something that they can do very reasonably. And again, I mean, the fastest way we can get folks back to the dental office and alleviate their concerns about safety, the better off we're all going to be.
That's great. Well, you know what? Kind of out of time, but how do people track down Carestream on the internet, find out what's going on, what your products are, what you're doing, et cetera, et cetera? It's just a simple web.
Great. Yeah, so people could go to carestreamdental.com, and we have all kinds of resources there on the virus, continuing education, resources to help work through the virus, and at post-virus. So we've got a whole nice resource center there, and you can find out all kinds of information about that as well as our products and software.
Super. Ed, always a pleasure seeing you. Stay safe. Do well, and I will see you at somewhere, unless I just have to come to Atlanta.
Someplace soon, Paul. Yes, all the
right.
best. Be safe.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, take care.